there were many experiences that, there was one that I've never really told anybody, and mostly because I don't know if anybody would appreciate its value as much. But I think that it's an important thing to share. We were in Lima, and we were knocking on doors, and knocking, and knocking. This was my toughest area in Lima. It was a much more rich area. It was in the area where there was a Chili's and the zoo and the movie theater and the mall. I mean, it was a really difficult area to be in. The more humble area you in, the humble the people were. And we knocked and knocked and knocked. I bet we knocked for hours. And not only did they close the door on us, they slammed the door on us. And usually it was with a very mean thing that they said. And I remember just before we knocked on this door, this lady screamed at us and called us these horrible names. And I'm trying to keep my cool, and so is my poor companion. She's from Guatemala, and we were done. We were done. And we had the energy in us to knock on one more door. And we opened the door, and it's this man, I don't even remember his name now, and he accepts us in. It's the first door we'd gotten in. And we had knocked for hours. I'm not kidding, hours. And we get inside the house, and his little daughter is named Patricia. And she was maybe five or six, I'd say, and she had Down syndrome. And she was sitting far away from us, and we're beat and we're shattered. And he starts saying something, and then I respond to him, and then all of a sudden Patricia starts to come over to me. And I got the feeling that Patricia was a very, very aggressive. Sometimes I know children with Down syndrome, they're just strong and they're aggressive and they don't really know what they're doing, and they'll grab your hair, they'll go with. So she comes over to me, and the fear in his eyes, I mean, he thought, she's going to do something to the missionary. And I'm kind of talking to him, whatever, like that, and I kind of had my hand down, and Patricia reaches over and grabs my hand and just does this and holds my hand and puts it up against her cheek. And my companion looked over and saw what was going on, and because of what I know and what we all know about children with Down syndrome and other handicaps, because we know that they got a straight ticket to heaven, that was no doubt to me or my companion oh man, I haven't even told the story, that sweet little girl was just a little piece of heaven that Heavenly Father just gave us. And it's such a simple thing, you know, and that's why I never really shared it, because it may not mean much to anybody, but to have her just sit and hold my hand, and I just stroked her hand like this and just continued talking and acted like nothing was happening. And my companion and I walk out that door and just kind of had this face like this, where we couldn't believe what had happened. And we just cried and cried and cried, because we knew so well that Heavenly Father was just trying to get an expression of love towards us straight from Him. And I have no doubt that that's exactly what that little girl was. We never saw him again. You know, we never found him again. It never happened again. But my goodness, to have Heavenly Father reach out in such a sweet, precious way with that precious little girl. I will never, not that I ever looked at them in any different way, you know, anybody with Down syndrome, but now they hold such a special place in my heart, because I know that they're just little drops of heaven here on earth for all the rest of us. And it just was the sweetest experience I've ever had.